I am an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. August 31st, I celebrated 11 years in recovery. Don't worry, I'm not one of those judgmental sober people. I hope you got as fucked up as you felt comfortable getting on a Tuesday night. I'm not judgmental. I'm one of them jealous sober people. I look out in the crowd and see everybody having a couple cold beers, a couple cocktails, maybe a glass of wine, not burning down everything you love and treasure, like a bunch of fucking adults. Show-offs. I just couldn't do it, and I'm glad I got the help that I needed. I'm very, very, very thankful for recovery. But once I entered into recovery, I realized very quickly it's hereditary. I truly believe it's hereditary. I believe it's passed down, it's genetic. And even if you don't believe that, you have to admit that there's a predisposition there. Whether or not you believe it's the addiction that's passed down, you're definitely exposed to it from an early age. But at an early age, you don't know what substance abuse looks like. You don't know what alcoholics look like. You just knew two very clear types of people. You got cool uncles, and you got lame uncles. My dad's side, they were the regular old run-of-the-mill rednecks. They worked hard, blue-collar jobs. They took care of their one family, drank cold beer on Saturday, went to church on Sunday. Lame. We had Uncle Clarence on that side. If the name alone does not tell you what side of the fun spectrum he fell on. Let me tell you about old Clarence. Uncle Clarence was a highway patrolman for the state of North Carolina for 40 years. That man didn't laugh, he didn't smile, he didn't tell jokes, he didn't season meat properly. He gave shitty Christmas gifts. Lame. I love him. Lame. But my mom's side of the family, they were the fun ones. They were the ones you make reality television shows about. Every stereotype you have of a Southern person, that's my mom's side of the family. God bless them. And every one of them was a character, like a real cartoon character. But my favorite of all of my aunts and uncles on that side was Uncle Benny. Uncle Benny was single-handedly the coolest motherfucker I've ever met in my life. And I think the reason us kids resonated with Uncle Benny is because he treated us like an adult. He got down on one knee and talked to us eye to eye. How are you doing? You having a good week? School going good? Your parents treating us good? You got a girlfriend? He treated us like we were seen. We felt seen. And then he proceeded to give us cold beer. And when you're 8 years old and you get a whole damn can of cold beer, you will go to war for whoever gave it to you. We were like a little militia, armed with screwdrivers and rusted machetes, like the Lost Boys to that motherfucker's Peter Pan. I loved Uncle Benny. It was awesome. But then one of my cousins ratted us out. I'm not going to say her name, but Mindy told my grandmother that we were out back drinking. And my grandmother called Uncle Benny a bad influence and told him he was not welcome in her house anymore. You think that stopped Uncle Benny from showing up? No, even the drunk knows when Christmas and Thanksgiving are. He just showed up late. And us kids knew he was coming. We always knew Uncle Benny would not let us down. But the parents were naive. Every single year, there'd be at least one of them at the table saying, y'all don't think Benny's going to show up this year after what he did last year, right? And they're all in unison. No, there's no way he's going to come. And a bunch of little kids are sitting at the table like, the fuck he ain't. So we just went outside and waited for him. Because we knew about 60 to 90 minutes after the meal finished, that's prime time for Uncle Benny to show up and cause some ruckus. So we would sit in that front yard, and to give you some geographical perspective, my grandmother lived on a dirt road, about 1.5 miles down a dirt road, and it ran perpendicular with the state road, the paved road. And if anybody turned off of that paved road, going the speed limit, like a good model citizen, it would just look like a car turning on the road, just bumbling up a dirt road. But let's say somebody hit that dirt road going about 85 miles an hour. Then you don't see a car at all. You just see a dirt cloud. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for dirt clouds with Uncle Benny. And we'd sit there and we'd look, and cars are just turning on car after car. And then one kid would see it before anybody else, like a fucking shooting star. They'd be like, look, and we'd look, and there it is, just bubbling on the horizon, just vibrating. And we knew to shut the fuck up, because if you got real quiet, you could hear Uncle Benny before you saw him. If you got real quiet, there's no wind blowing through the trees, no critters making any noise. You could hear him echoing, taking care of business every day, taking care of business. And as that dirt cloud got bigger and bigger and bigger, that BTO got louder and louder and louder. And when he got about a mile away from the driveway, he busted out of that dirt cloud. Uncle Benny drove a Trans Am, because one, of course he drove a fucking Trans Am. Two, T-tops out, year round, 0 fucks that man gave. So for the next mile, he's just waving at us like a drunk Forrest Gump out of the top of that motherfucker. It was like watching a movie. It's like, is he gonna put it in a ditch? Is he gonna hit a pedestrian child? Who gives a shit? Benny's here. And we just waited patiently. And Uncle Benny's just fishtailing up that dirt road, and he gets right at the driveway. He yanks that e-brake, cuts that wheel, and gives it gas, and he starts shooting up that driveway. And us kids are standing there just locked arms. And for the next 30 to 40 feet, Uncle Benny's headed straight at us in a Trans Am. But we trusted him. So instead of running in fear, we're cheering him on like we're at a goddamn football game. And Uncle Benny gets right at us, and he yanks that wheel one more time, slams that e-brake, gravel goes everywhere. He parked like that for 2 reasons. One, that's cool as shit. That's a cool way to make an entrance. 2, he learned very young that if you park sideways, nobody else can leave until you do. And when you're an agent of chaos, that's how you park. And I've got a lot of vivid memories from my childhood, but the most vivid is Uncle Benny and that fucking Trans Am. It's like a movie. He'd park that thing, and wide camera angle would slowly move in on him. Engine turns off, dust settles. The driver's side door opens up, 1 foot, hits the ground, 2 foot, hit the ground. He steps up, denim on denim on denim. It was 1994, friends. There was nothing fucking cooler than that. And he'd reach into his shirt pocket and he'd pull out a pair of sunglasses and put them things on. And then he'd Bo Duke slide across the hood of that Trans Am. And then he'd walk over to the passenger door and he'd open it up for whatever Holiday Inn cocktail waitress he's dating at the time. Because even though he was a drunk and a horrible father, he was still a consummate fucking gentleman.
Is that Mom?
And then he would walk out.